going to talk to you a little bit about business continuity planning today, but I'm going to approach it from a different perspective. I'm going to take off my vendor hat from Xylocor and put on my VAR Managed Service Solution hat, because I own a managed service practice in Vegas. So I want to approach it from that side. But I just want you to know one thing about me. I'm not going to put a lot of titles or all the stuff that I've done in my life, but this is the only thing you need to know about me. That's my granddaughter. Isn't she cute? Yeah. All right, at the count of 3, everybody say, ah. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, there's a reason I put that picture up, not because she's got a great-looking grandfather, but the reason is because my subject, I hope when I pull it together at the end, you will realize that business continuity is so important and so crucial and so fundamental into your service practice that you will make it a way of life because it touches more than your business. I'd like to propose to you by the time I'm through that because of this subject, you will do something to change the way you look at the way you run your business and have a business continuity life planning situation in place. Now, I come from Las Vegas. How many of you have been to my fair city? Great. We are dependent on the California folks. I think 46% of our revenues come from California. And as you well know, Vegas has been through some very tough times. 1 out of every 8 homes are under foreclosure. And I was just reading yesterday, we have double the people who are defaulting on mortgages than the rest of the country. 86% of our homes are underwater. They released this slide a few months ago. It's from the Department of Labor. And we have the nation's worst unemployment. Look at this. But look at what they put us under with the 51st state. How many states are there? No wonder our country is screwed up. The Department of Labor can't even figure out how many states we have. You know, and I'm an immigrant to this country. I know we don't have 51 states. But anyway, long story short, it's bad. Unemployment in the construction industry is up to 50%. The good news is I can hook you up with good deals from Vegas. We're managing part of the Trump Tower, so I can get you rooms now for $100. 2-for-1 buffets are coming in. 2-for-1 Cirque du Soleil shows. We won't talk about the deals you get with, never mind. There are a lot of great deals. I'm not going there, guys. Long story short, we had a managed service client, a construction company who could not pay our bills. They went out of business, so we repoed their white limo. So if you come to Vegas, give me a call. I'll pick you up in my white limo from the airport. You got to listen to a 20-minute Xylocor propaganda speech, and I'll drop you off at your hotel. But don't all come at once, can only seat about 15. So, you know. But call me if you come to Vegas, okay? I'm going to share a little bit of our history, because I think it's important to let you know where I'm coming from. We've been in business since 1983. And by the way, I wished I'd known what Stuart was sharing with you this morning 5, 6 years ago or 7 years ago, and we started transforming into a managed service business. We had to learn the hard way. I can remember sitting with Eric Simpson about 7 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, in our site, and we were talking about just blowing up the break-fix business and just moving straight into recurring revenue. And I wish I had learned and known a lot of the stuff that you guys are learning here this morning, because it would have solved a lot of heartache. But we started out from just a small store in a strip mall selling stuff, you know, products. Then we went into the enterprise business and sold a lot of products to the casinos. We filled Paris and a lot of the other station casinos with products. High revenues, but what? Very thin margins. Horrible business, because 1 month we'd be doing great, the next 5 months. And if we did not move into recurring revenues and transform from products to what I like to call business continuity services, that's what I call managed services. I don't call it managed services. I would not be standing here today. And it so happened back in 2007, the worst economic times in the country, we started another company. that's been flourishing, Xylocor. So we got 2 companies there. But I'm sharing you this slide because I'm just a small managed service provider, reseller in Vegas, about 15 employees, not counting the other company. And if we could survive the worst, toughest economic times in the country and start up another company, you guys can too. Because I think you guys are a lot smarter than we are. And you have got a lot of potential here wherever your facility is. We got some awards along the way. And when my partner retired, we just changed the name over. Now we call ourselves Business Continuity Technologies for a reason that I will share with you here in just a few minutes. So, let's be honest. How many of you have a current business continuity plan in writing? 1, 2, 3 at the most, or tested. Unfortunately, that is what I see around the country. In the last 6 months, I've been on a mission. I've presented to over 1,600 CEO and VAR owners across the country, and less than 5% have raised their hands and say they've got a business continuity plan in place. Good morning, Mr. Shapiro. Good to see you. Mr. Shapiro and I were in Miami yesterday. We were on the CompTIA board, or I guess it was our last meeting. We've been there for 3 years. And we had it at the Terramark Data Center. 750,000 square feet of colo that Verizon bought. Incredible place, incredible security, incredible. The thing I couldn't figure out is why they put it in a hurricane-prone city. They did try to explain it. But they've got a big disaster recovery business continuity plan. And so you're saying, I'm just such a small VAR, I'm a regular managed service provider, I can't have a business continuity plan. By the time I'm done, I'm going to show you how to do it and how you can start on that. You don't have to be a big company to do that. Number 2, well, that falls through the question number 1. If you have a business continuity plan and you've got it in place, it's a great way to share added value to your customers. Because if you are their trusted business advisor, the best thing you can do is to help your customer realize that they can protect their business, their assets, and their life at the end of the day. But if you don't have it for yourself, you can't share it with them. Can a disaster happen to you? Yes. SNC squared. Some of my buddies out here. Guess what city they were in a few months, this happened a few months ago. Anybody guess? This is what their site looked like. Joplin, Missouri. One day they woke up, the owner, his whole life, everything he built for it, the last 5-10 years, John woke up and that's what he had. Are you ready for something like that? You say, well, it'll never happen to me. It probably won't. There's a chance maybe 5%, 10%. But are you even ready for the minor business disruptions, which is probably more catastrophic than a major business disaster? And there is a little bit of a difference in that. So are you prepared and are you planned? Fortunately, John was. And a few months ago with this group, we developed the first IT first responder, kind of like a Red Cross kind of responder team across the country for IT providers. In case something happened, we would go out and help them. It's a great story. Hands That Give is the name of the foundation that we're doing this. So my agenda today is very simple. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our success story, share with you my passion. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this. It's a mission for me. Talk to you about business continuity and disaster recovery as a vertical that you can get into, that you should get into. There's a lot of money to be made for it. Choosing the right business continuity offerings and inspire you to have a plan. And I'm also going to give you two suggestions on how Monday morning you can save some money, make some money that has nothing related to do at all with business continuity. Because I believe anytime a presenter is up speaking, they should at least give you one thing that you can take back, that you can use from a revenue perspective. And then I want to talk to you about making it a way of life. Back in September 2010, Forrester, along with Gartner, made this prediction after they did a survey and assessment of over 1,000 companies, that business continuity and disaster recovery are the top IT priorities for 2010 and 2011. For the SMB market space. For the enterprise level space, it has dropped down to number 2, which I found very interesting, which tells me the market is maturing, which tells me that now small and medium-sized businesses can afford a simple business continuity disaster recovery offering that 3, 4, 5 years ago one could not afford. By the way, I'll give you the slides and I'll give you a lot of the stuff at the, if you just give me your business card at the end of my presentation, so you don't have to really take down notes. I believe business continuity, by the way, I think this is my most important slide here, is the most important vertical for the managed service provider today. And if indeed your job is to sell uptime, and if indeed your job is to keep your customers' business going, whether they suffer a minor business disruption or a major business disaster, then you should be offering them the value add of helping them prepare and plan for whatever situations may come about. Now, you look like a real smart guy. Your name is what again? BJ. And I assume you, what do you do?
Same thing everybody else.
Okay, great. And you install networks, right? Probably? All right. Would you like go to a customer, sell them a network, install it, and not put in a firewall or put an anti-spam, antivirus? No. Why not?
It's a requirement for doing business.
All right. Okay, it's a requirement. I believe, I used to think that it was just a recommendation. I believe if I do not go to my end user customers and tell them the necessity of having a business continuity plan in place and having them prepare for a business disruption in whatever shape or form, that I'm doing them a disservice, just like if I would set up a network and not put in a firewall. In fact, I will take it one step further. To me, it's become a moral situation. If I will just sell them stuff and not go to my customers and help them plan to keep their business up and running. Because what happens at the end of the day if you do that? At the end of the day, your customer is going to say, hey, you know, that guy who helps me with my IT, he's really concerned not just about my business. He's concerned about my legacy, about my family. They're small business owners like you. You've become a real trusted advisor, and that will set you apart from the rest of your competitors in, in the area that you're at. There's also a lot of revenue that you can make. This is not just doing good. There's a lot of dollars left on the table. And for a lot of new security stuff going on, I'm pushing CompTIA here a little bit. You know, it's a fundamental requirement if you're going to go into some of the trust mark security housekeeping badge of security with some of these organizations. So what's your disruption plan? Most disasters are not dramatic or newsworthy. They are simple, mundane issues. You know, when I put the slide up, doesn't that guy look like Charlie Sheen? Was he a disaster or what? Okay. By the way, what is the biggest event that takes place throughout the country that causes companies to declare a disaster? Do you know? You're good. Have you heard my speech before? You're good. Look at that. 91% power outage. I live in Vegas. You know what happens in the summer there? We have what they call rolling blackouts. They have those in Arizona. They probably have them over here in California. Look at this, 77% hardware error. Then you got the fire, the flood, the hurricane. Then you got software error. Two of the big things over here that we have, in a sense, a form of control that we touch. Then it goes all the way down to, they just added this one, the riots, I guess, from what's happening overseas. Although, hey, Occupy Wall Street, who knows? I mean, you know, Occupy what?
Occupy the server room.
Yeah, there you go. It's, yes? I have no idea. I'm bad in math. contact the Disaster Recovery Institute. I'll have to, it does. That's the first, you're a smart dude. That's the first time yeah, I'll figure it. Well, it's somewhere in there, but that's from them. There you go. Okay, thank you, Dan. I'm glad you came on board here this morning. So if you still are not convinced, here's some statistics, sobering at best. 93% of companies that lost their data for 10 days or more filed for bankruptcy within 1 year of the disaster, and 50% filed for bankruptcy immediately thereafter. Post-Katrina, post-9/11, and all these other disasters, that's what happened. Okay? Word of caution. Your customers don't buy out of fear. They're going to be driven to you because of things that happen from a catastrophic situation. But at the end of the day, you don't sell out of fear. What you're selling is peace of mind. If your customer can go to sleep at night knowing that they've got their stuff managed, that you've sold them peace of mind. A lot of you know this, so I'm going to breeze through this. So what does your business continuity plan look like? I'm going to send you a template, if you give me your business card, when we're done here, that has a very simple plan for you to put in place. The best thing you can do come Monday is bring in some of your key folks in and just start mapping it out and putting it in writing. It's the best thing you can do. The business plan should be in writing. It should be more than just covering the IT perspective. It should be tested. It should be reviewed. Obviously, making it a way of life. Something very simple as if something happened to your, disaster happened to your facility today. Do your customers know where to have a centralized meeting point to gather after that? Over in Vegas at our facility, there was a Denny's about a block or two down the road, and when we would have our employee meetings, we would go through our plan and we'd tell them something happens, we all meet at Denny's. Unfortunately, about 3 months ago, the Denny's shut down, went out of business, and I got to go back and rethink our plan and find another place. So you got to keep reviewing it and making it a way of life. This is what a very basic plan looks like. Again, I have a template I'll give you. Don't make it complicated. Just keep it simple. Employee contact info. By the way, Cantor Fitzgerald, does that name ring a bell to you? Okay, great. Poster child of 9/11. 81st story, I think it's Twin Tower number 1. They were the first company to get up and running 2 weeks after that disaster, even though they lost 80% of their employees. Incredible story. Why did that happen? He wrote a book about it. You know what? The employees, those that fortunately or unfortunately remained, those 20%, all the employees had shared not just their business email addresses, because what happens when there is a catastrophe with a business email? It goes bye-bye. They shared their personal email addresses, their Yahoo, Gmail, AOL account, and their personal cell phone numbers. So they started communicating. Hey, Joe, are you still alive? Oh, too bad. I'm really so sorry. Mary, are you still alive? Let's get together. They met 2 weeks later in the New Jersey place in a centralized location, and they got up and running. A very basic plan. Client in contact, vendor contact, so important. You're working with vendors when things happen, when you need stuff. If you don't have that information somewhere, you're lost. What about emergency procedures? Evacuation rally points. All these are very important. They're very simple. It just takes a little bit of a discipline to sit down and map it out. The risk assessment is important. The best thing you can do tonight when you get back to your room is go to Google Earth and do a 5-mile radius around your facility, okay, and see all the hazards that could be around where you're at. Check it out. You may be very surprised at what you see. For example, we did a business continuity assessment on this building. It's a medical clinic. And do you see the risk? This is the medical office right here. What are some of the risks? Maybe too far away for you. What's this going down over here? Those are railroad tracks. Railroad tracks, yeah, train tracks. An huh? Yeah, but you know what? You want to do a real great Saturday afternoon exercise in futility, go to the website and get all the hazmat numbers. You know what the hazmat numbers are? Sit by the train tracks and look at the trains going by and see what all kinds of stuff is going through your city. The hazarded stuff. It'll scare you don't have any more hair left, but I was going to say scare whatever hair you got left out of there. Train tracks. There was another thing when we did this. Look at this. This was a sporting goods store. What's in a sporting goods store? Ammunition, swimming pool chemicals. These folks in the medical clinic thought they had it made. Hey, we're okay. No worries. No one recognized those risks. Very simple thing that you can do. By the way, you guys are sitting here in meetings for the last 2-3 days. Your staff's back in your office. If something happened from a water situation, would they know where to turn off the water? Would your employees know? We did an assessment with 7 managed service providers near Iowa, I think it was, a few months ago. And in one of their sites, they finally realized they had 8 places where they had to go to shut off the water in that building. 8 places. It was a building that just added onto each other. Simple things like that. Communications, how will you reach your key employees? Phone system failover. How about email continuity? There are so many great offerings now for email continuity. How about, do you have multiple internet services coming into your office now? You know, think about it. Plan for no power phones. By the way, if there is a disaster, don't get on your cell phones and call if you need to communicate. The best way they've found out is to send text. Text gets through before voice. It takes a lot less bandwidth. And you should, again, by the end of the week, create a distribution list, a group list on your cell phone, your employees, your key personnel, your family. And when something happens, boom, you send it to them. They know what's happening. Phone and email failover. Again, there are a lot of great offerings now that you can use to reroute your email. What happens if the cell towers are down? These are the things that you can think of. And where should your plan reside? Obviously, where you're going to use it the most. You can store it in various medias, recovery site. I've got a big black book in my house that has a folder of all that stuff in there, and I've got it on a secured thumb drive. So there are various ways of where you can do that. Here's some information you can get to. Again, I'll send this all to you so you can do some planning. My advice to you, don't make it overcomplicated. Start with a simple plan, but execute and start right away. Remember this guy, General Russell Honore? He was the U.S. Army commander after Hurricane Katrina, a bombastic, loud, very forceful general, but very effective. He had some really good advice. Focus on preparation, not a response. Have a plan. He says most disaster planning and testing does not assume power and communications will be down. Expect to be in the dark without cell phones, ATMs, and credit cards won't work. It's not the government's job to get you water after a disaster. He says, get your own damn kit. You know, they did a study. When there's a disaster, when the local government officials come into town, they're going to take care of the large enterprise companies. They're not concerned about you. Unfortunately, we are the backbone of America as small businesses. We got to have our own plan. I was speaking to the National Hurricane Conference in Austin a few years ago, and the folks from the SMBs and then FEMA and Homeland Security came to me afterward and says, you know what, you do have a point. Who's taking care of the small guy? We got to take care of ourselves. Emergency supplies, water. Hey, when you go to Costco, get 3 more of those big water stuff and store it in your office. We've got a kid in our office with supplies. You should do the same for yours. Cash, that's really important. Keep $100 or $200 cash in your wallet at all times, unless you live in Las Vegas and you've got this propensity when you walk through the blackjack tables that you're going to utilize it. Keep it, you know. Prescriptions, important things to do. Switching quick gears because we got to move really fast here. Choosing the right BC, Business Continuity Disaster Recovery offering. There are many good offerings. We got some vendors here you should be talking to, but one of the key words you need to look at is restorability. The buzzword for technology in the 70s and 80s was backup, backup, backup. Now it's restorability, reliability. What good is backup if your applications can't be running, if your business can't be running? Because it's more important than just protecting the data and recovering the data. It's all about recovering your business. You got to think higher than just business continuity as online cloud backup. There's 1,800 online cloud backup companies. A lot of them are giving away backup for free. But what good is that if you can't recover? If you have a good business continuity disaster recovery offering to sell that's like this, you will be successful. We've got enough technology now that makes this happen. You should be able to have file recovery that's quickly. You should be able to have a server recovery that goes quickly, and the whole site to be able to recover in a cloud somewhere in a virtualized state quickly. Remember the statistics? If you're not up and running as a small and medium-sized business, if you have a catastrophic disaster within 5 to 7 days, 80% of those in that category will be out of business within a year or declare bankruptcy. Quick success story of what we've utilized in Vegas with our VAR partners. If you go to Vegas, a block away from MGM is a non-gaming hotel called Carriage House. I can get you good hookups and deals for suites under $39, so give me a call. You'd think I'm the ambassador of Vegas, wouldn't you? Say what? Hey, yeah, I'm gonna do my best because it's gonna help me. The CFO couldn't get her files. It was deleted end of month. She was freaking out, called us. We had an offering obviously in place. Within 6 mouse clicks, a few seconds, she recovered the file because it was a file-based recovery system. She was happy as a lark, saved her day. She keeps singing our praises. One of my favorite stories, Trump Towers. About 2 years ago, July 2, the IT director, Eric, calls me freaking out saying, Lester, my server's crashed. It's going to be 5 days before HP brings all their stuff. I need to get my sales pipeline in there. And I said, Eric, why are you so agitated? He says, Lester, you don't know. I says, no, I don't know. What? He says, Donald is coming in town tomorrow. So what happens when Donald comes to town and you don't have your sales pipeline ready for him? There you go. Fortunately, Mr. Eric wasn't fired. We had his sales server virtualized within a half an hour. An hour later, we merged all the stuff together. Donald came into town, got his pipeline. He was happy. It took us 6 months to get permission from the Trump Towers to even just have their picture up here. A great success story. We're just a small VAR. You can do it too. Site success story. Hurricane Ike barreling through Houston. A laptop distribution company calls us on Friday. Joe says, Lester, hurricane's going to hit Saturday night or Sunday at the latest. Need help? We started getting things working for him. By Saturday morning, his entire network was virtualized off-site. They logged into a Citrix environment. They're up and running. Hurricane came. Fortunately, didn't blow their building down, but they were without power for 3 weeks, so they could keep on running. My challenge to you, if you have an offering like this, that you can go to your customers and say, here it is, Mr. Owner, business continuity insurance. They'll say, where do I sign? It's working. You guys can do it too. You need a complete solution. Instead of the traditional strategy when something happens, to assemble the IT staff, replace equipment, acquire software, assemble PCs, reload data, and pray that it works. But hope is not a strategy. Begin work in 4 to 7 days. All you need is to have a complete solution where the customer calls, recovery in the cloud, connect to the internet, and begin to work within 24, 48 hours. You can make a lot of money. You guys are living in California. Anytime there are earthquakes or minor shocks, you should have the next week a lunch and learn on preparing for disasters. Have your vendors use MFD funds. We get anywhere from 50 to 70 people coming to these lunch and learns. They come out of fear, but they buy out of peace of mind. You can tell and help them how to get a business continuity plan. A great, great way to get leads. If you guys want to get leads, this is a way to do it. Give me your business card. I will email you a template on a sample presentation. I'll even have you call sample telemarketing call cheat sheets for you to utilize on how you can hold one of these. Booming storage market, hottest trend, predictable trend, storage is going like this. Tip for you, small business owners. Majority of your customers and competitors don't have a tool where they can assess storage management. As storage management grows, if you have a nifty tool where you can go to the customer and say, hey, I'm going to help you with your spring cleaning. Let's clean out some of this stuff. You can be a storage management professional. There are various offerings that you can utilize to work to that. My time is going really quickly. I don't have much time to go through the slide, but let me just share you a hint that we've utilized. When I started selling business continuity disaster recovery as backup, I didn't do too well. Then I tried selling it as data protection. Did a little bit better. Then I tried selling it as off-site, online backup. Did a little bit better. But I really knocked it out of the park when I started selling it as business continuity insurance. Today, 95% of all my managed service customers have a business continuity disaster recovery solution. I used to just recommend it. I require it now. And I look at the owner in the eye when I do the close and I say, Mr. Owner, says, if I don't share this with you, I am doing you a disservice. I'm doing you a disservice. You're from a Seeger, right? No. Where's the Seeger guy here? I thought there was a... There you are, okay. They've got a great solution, by the way. And no extra plug, anyway. But I'm doing a disservice if I don't sell that to my, or share that with my owners. Quick things that have nothing to do with business continuity disaster recovery. There are still some funds that you guys can utilize from the Workers Investment Act. If you need to hire employees, go to the website and do California Workers Investment Act. If that person has just been unemployed for 1 day, you can get up to 4 weeks or 8 weeks of their salary paid government money. So regardless if you're Democrat or Republican, take the money and run. We've gotten thousands of dollars on this here. Actually, they'll also, I didn't know this, but they pay for clothes. I know if I told this to you, you wouldn't believe me, but look at this. We work through the Nevada partners, we get these federal funds, and one of our employees said, hey, I would like to get some certification. They'll help in certification. And they also said, oh, we'll pay for clothes. So he said, how much is it? And the case manager says, I'll pay for your clothing once we get the paperwork completed. So I've got the senior engineers walking around in a nice, nice shoes and shirt and pants, all paid by the federal government. Your tax money at work. Take advantage of it, okay? Finally, we're in a global economy. You want to save some? There is a program where you can get interns, graduate, college degreed interns. For $7 an hour, you don't have to pay their Social Security, you don't have to pay their medical. It's all taken care of by this. They work all the visa stuff out. They are kids who are usually from well-to-do families because they have to pitch in $5,000 just to get into the program. Their families sponsor them. I have one going every year. You can get them for marketing. You can get them for engineering. I have one gal right now from Russia who is her graduate, her master's in IT. She is doing a lot of the back-end stuff for me. A brilliant, brilliant lady. $7 an hour. Save some money. I've got to leave here shortly. Give me your business cards. I'll email you the presentation, the facility profile, a business continuity lunch and learn, emergency kit, sample marketing sheets, and one more thing. Is this all there is to life at work? Be sure to call me when you come to Vegas, but also go to Binion's Casino. Have you been to Binion's? I've always wondered what $1 million looked like in cash, right? That's it right there. So I went over there. They'll take your picture. It's free. They'll give you an 8x10 you can take home. So unfortunately, it's in a plexiglass cage, so I couldn't get a few of those bills. Yeah, I think so, you know. It looks like it there, right? So we're here to make a profit. We don't have profits. We can't keep our business going, keep our families going, etc. But at the end of the day, my challenge to you is that, is this all there is to life and work? These are my new grandsons. Aren't they cute? I believe business continuity is more than business. I believe it is life continuity. I believe it is your legacy. Thanks for your time. Oh, okay.